Hello guys, good evening everybody. I trust you are all doing well. So nice to have us this evening. You can see most persons are still coming up to join the call. So nice to have us here. Okay, I think we'll just try to play around for everybody to join us. I believe we actually try to guide everybody along. Please try to remind everybody about this class today, about the webinar. So excited to be here. I want to say a big shout out to our bosses, that's the CEO of Pmoney Academy, and also his humble PA, the master of the academy, and he's also on this call. It's an honor to have you here, sir. Thank you so much. 33 minutes past 8. Okay, I trust others will join us. So let's so just progress with the class as others join us. You can guys hear me loud and clear? Can I get the feedback? From one of our speakers. Please can you hear me loud and clear?
We can hear you.
All right. Thank you, sir. Okay. So today's webinar, we're going to be talking about CBDCs, that's central bank digital currency. And by the grace of God and His mercies, we have resource persons from the academy that are doing justice to this. So just a quick one, I'll just run through a popular introduction just for you guys to probably know who we are. And the speakers come up, they will introduce themselves too as they go on. So talking about CBDCs today, that's Naira, and we have BillionAireSon as one of the speakers, Kerux as one of the speakers, and myself too as one of the speakers. So because of our time, I'll just run through the outlines we have for the call. Okay? The first speaker is going to take us through introduction to CBDCs. What are CBDCs? Its ideology. Our second speaker will talk to us about why CBDCs, the pros and the cons. Then our third speaker will talk about CBDCs and cryptocurrencies. Then we'll take questions and answers. So that will be what we'll be looking at. So I'll have the pleasure to bring up first speaker. That's one of my favorite students, actually. I'm so proud of him. That's Kerux. Kerux will be speaking to us as the first speaker. So it's an honor to have you here, sir. So you can take over. The floor is yours now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. I'm grateful, sir. It's a privilege to be your student. So good evening, everybody. Good evening, everyone. It's a privilege to be before you guys. I want to thank my bosses for this opportunity to, come and speak about CBDCs and then INERA. So can everybody hear me clearly?
Yes, we
Hello?
can loud and clear.
All right, guys. So we'll be talking about CBDCs and INERA. The INERA you've been hearing about INERA. Nigeria wants to create a digital currency. So we'll be talking about that. I'll first start from CBDCs. All right, I'll tell you about CBDCs. I'll tell you about what they are. I would also tell you what they are not. I would then go on to tell you the ideas behind CBDC, and I'll also be talking about the INERA. I'll be talking about both of them interjoined together. All right, I'll also be telling you the ideas the government have had in mind, before they created the INERA, why they created it, and the limitations to it and all those stuff. All right, so I'll first start by telling you what a CBDC is. Okay, CBDC stands for Central Bank Digital Currency. All right. So the term central bank digital currency refers to a virtual form of fiat currency. What is fiat? Fiat is our Naira note. Fiat is our money, our fiscal money, like 1,000 Naira, 500 Naira. That is fiat. So now, fiat currency in a digital form, a virtual form, you can't feel it, all right, but you can see it. It's digital. That is what a CBDC is. That is what a central bank digital currency is. Okay, it is like an electronic record or a digital form of your country's official currency, which is in terms of INERA now. So INERA is a electronical record of your Naira, or it is a digital form of the Naira that you know, and it is issued and regulated by the CBN. All right, the people who are issuing the INERA to the users is the CBN. All right, and they are the ones who are going to be regulating it. As I speak, sometimes I'll be comparing it to the Bitcoin, so you will get the concept of what CBDCs are, and then you might also be seeing it in seeing the difference it has with the Bitcoin we are used to. All right, so a CBDC is issued and it is regulated by the CBN, or when I say CBN, I'm talking in terms of the INERA. Well, actually, it is issued and regulated by the bank. What are they called? The bank officials of whatever nation. If you are speaking about it in general, but regarding our INERA, it is issued and regulated by CBN. That's the Central Bank of Nigeria. All right, so CBDCs are backed by the credit of the issuing government. So the Central Bank of Nigeria doesn't just have itself alone to play in the role of issuing and regulating INERA, but the government also is involved. All right. Now, I want you to understand that INERA is not just permanently put out to the users, like, okay, INERA has been put out and you're just going to be using it like that. There are regulations and limitations to INERA, and then 2 months after INERA has come out, it's already out already, but in the next 2 months you can hear about a new limitation on INERA, that you can't do this with your INERA, you can do this with your INERA. So it is subject to things like that. So that's showing you that it is backed by the credit of the issuing government and also the CBN. We are under the federation of we're under the, what's it called? It's the Federation of Buhari, the Buhari Federation. So it is also subject to Buhari's Federation. Whatever policy that might be issued to the CBN to attach to the INERA, they can. All right, so INERA is a digital format of the Naira note that we all know. Okay, so it is issued by a government body and will be regulated and monitored. So this means that the transactions that are done with the INERA, for example, or CBDCs, however, but I want to be so particular because what we all want to know is INERA, right? So INERAs, the transactions that will be done with INERAs with INERA is going to be monitored, to be closely monitored by the issuing government and the CBN. So this makes CBDCs centralized and totally goes against what Bitcoins and alternative coins stand for. So now, one thing with CBDCs is that they are centralized to some extent. They are not completely decentralized as Bitcoin or whatever alternative coins you know. All right, so Bitcoins and other alternative coins, they are decentralized. All right, it is traceable to some extent, but the identity of the user cannot be fully tracked. Right, the transactions alone are what is traceable. That's with Bitcoin and other altcoin transactions. But you see the Naira that you know now, it is centralized in the sense that it can be monitored. Each transaction and the user can be monitored. Yes, by the Central Bank of Nigeria, and they can be tracked. They can be tracked also. All right. So INERA is a legal tender and will form pact with the current with the normal Naira, in the sense that if one Naira now is equal to, let's say, if one Naira is 570, INERA is going to be 572. All right, it will be in pact with fiscal Naira. It's not like one Naira might be like 570 Naira, and then it will be different. If Naira is 570 to like $1, so Naira is 570 to dollar too. If Naira is 560 to dollar, Naira is going to be 560 to dollar too. So I want us to understand that, and then also see that it will be maintaining the same exchange value with normal Naira. I just explained that. So a lot of people will be like a lot of people, I have seen so many things, like you see people saying that Naira might just be, like 570 to dollar, but when Naira launch, Naira will be like 700 Naira, and then it will keep pumping and pumping and pumping like that. Yes, I want us to understand that any commodity that stores value is subject to appreciation and depreciation. Right? Naira stores value. It stores value. It maintains the same value as much as our normal Naira contains value, but it is in pact with our normal Naira. If Naira is 570, Naira will be 570. Naira cannot go up and Naira will remain. They all their value is in pact. It's together. All right. So I'll tell us the ideas behind CBDCs and then the INERA. But I'll talk first of all in general terms. Then before I go, I go a little bit deep into the INERA particularly. So fiat money, as I explained earlier, is referred to as a currency, as a currency issued by a country's government. That's just normal fiat money. So it comes in forms of banknotes and sometimes coin. In America, the United States of America, there are coins. And then in Nigeria, we have banknotes that are normal Naira. It is considered as a form of a legal tender. So Naira is a legal tender and can be used for the sale and purchase of goods and services along with kinds of transactions and whatever. But now a CBDC, a central bank digital currency, is a virtual form of that fiat money, and it supplies financial inclusion. This is something that our our banknote does not supply to us. It supplies financial inclusion in the sense that no matter your economic status in the country, no matter your economic status, you are provided with financial solutions. You are provided with that the ability to be able to interact with the Naira note in a digital platform. It's also I would explain much more things that the Naira is in depth. I'll explain it as we continue, but just understand that the e-Naira is different from just our mere Naira in the sense that it provides financial inclusion to every single person, in the sense that no matter your economic status, whether you're poor, whether you're rich, middle class, whatever, you can use the e-Naira to make transactions to any platform, with any platform, to purchase anything you want. So that's one major thing the INERA supplies, right? So the digital currency, which is INERA in what we're talking about now, is designed to function as a unit of account, store of value, and medium of exchange for daily transactions. So many people believe the INERA is just like one kind of alternative coin that will just pump and dump anyhow. So people must understand that it is a unit of accounts that stores equal value with the Naira notes. So if your Naira notes if 10,000 Naira can buy one bag of rice, 10,000 Naira can equally buy one bag of rice. So it stores value also. And then it's also a medium of exchange. We'll be using the naira to trade and do many stuff. And then as time goes on, you will see how the government would even make it a form of compulsory stuff. Because I've seen plans like that the CBN plan to so much legalize it and make it very compulsory. I'll talk about that soon. So CBDCs, okay, I've talked about that. Um, the Central Bank of Nigeria now, the authority of the Central Bank of Nigeria authority will be solely liable for the operations of the naira. So you see it now, for example, in sense of speaking about Bitcoin now. Bitcoin has already been programmed into existence. Everything that has to do with Bitcoin has been set out already. You cannot alter the nature of Bitcoin. You cannot alter its existence. You cannot alter anything about it. The Bitcoin cannot do any more thing than it can do now. It serves like that. But when you see things, but comparing that to Inera now, the CBN is responsible for it in the sense that tomorrow they can say Inera will no longer do this, and that is what it will be. Tomorrow they can say Inera will do that, and then Inera will be able to do that. So they are solely responsible for the operations of Inera. That's the CBN. They are going to be responsible for the operations of the Inera. It is not something that has been established and forevermore. Inera will just be able to exchange goods and services, daily transactions. They can say tomorrow Inera can be used as this and that's what's going to happen. All right. For example, now, okay, part of the reasons why the government brought this stuff is to provide a solution in a situation where there might be decline in the use of cash. Yes, for example, now these people, what's it called? The Sweden bank now, the Sweden Riksbank, they developed a digital coin, a digital form of their native currency called their digital currency is called krona. The digital currency of Sweden, a country we might all know, it's called krona. That's their normal currency, right? They created a digital format of their currency. They call it e-krona, just as how we have inera. And the reason why the government created that is to prevent or is to prevent a situation whereby there might be a decline in the use of cash. And they actually experienced it sometimes. And because of reasons like that, and to prevent it in the future, they created they created the e-krona, a digital format of their currency. So Nigeria might come to a particular point where they might be decline in the use of cash, whereby they keep printing money, and then it begins to lose value, and the cost of things go high, because when there is much more money in circulation, there would be a lesser value, and because there is lesser value, things will definitely go high in price. You might see rice that used to be 10,000 become 15,000 naira, and then also to prevent situations like a decline in the use of cash, they created the inera. All right, so other this you talking about CBDCs, it has the same functionality as the traditional fiat, which includes the store of value, unit of accounts, and we have a monetary reserve. So it's also a monetary reserve of our normal Naira notes. So when CBDCs exist in the country, that's central bank digital currencies, there will be a much more efficient means of settlement, since there will be no need for intermediaries. So now using your normal bank Naira note, just to make a transaction from Sule to Musa, the bank has to be involved. The bank has to be an intermediary. The bank has to, confirm that Sule has so amount in his account, and then he wants to make transaction to do specific. They have to remove VAT charges and all those stuff. But with the Inera, there would be no intermediaries. It is just the user of the Inera and then the CBN. Now, CBN is not coming in sense of an intermediary. No, 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 no. The CBN are only coming in place of, they are the one issuing and regulating the INERA. So if you're interacting with INERA, you're going to be directly making transactions with your money to the person you want to make transaction with, which is most on the other end. So there is no bank that's going to be doing anything there. It is just you operating on the public blockchain that the CBN have created, and then you're sending your INERA to another person. There is no bank that is going to be an intermediary between you guys. It's just going to be pure peer to peer. All right. So because of the INERA, as I explained earlier, as I said earlier, there will be financial inclusion of citizens, since it will become a very easy and cheaper way to create an account. Now you know how when you want to create an account, they'll say bring your birth certificate, bring your NEPA bill, bring your this, bring your that, and you might even have there was some banks will go ahead and say, okay, to create your account, you might need to have about, is it 25,000 naira? You must have 5,000 naira or 2,000 naira. You must have put money there. Now, it is cheaper to create an INERA. To create an INERA account, you literally need just your email address, you need your BVN, your name, your date of birth, and that's all. It's as little as that. With just your BVN, your email address, your name, you can create a INERA account. You fund it, and then immediately you can start making transactions with people. You don't need all those complicated details and all those stuff. So it is much more easier and even cheaper to create an account than with your normal banking services. So with the INERA or CBDCs in play, there will be reduction in fraudulent activities. Counterfeit money in circulation would not be so prominent. You know how they might be fake Naira. People would go and print fake 1,000 Naira notes and use it in the night where people can't see it, and then in the day you are crying. But with INERA, you can't do that. You can't make a counterfeit INERA. There is just one INERA, and that's how it's going to be. So I don't want to go into the complex technicalities of how a blockchain works, but with the INERA, there can no be any other counterfeit INERA. So it will reduce fraudulent activities and counterfeit money in circulation. Armed robbery, for example, now would reduce to some extent, because your money is digital. Someone will be traveling now and be holding 50,000 naira. When they rob you, your money is gone. They'll just take it away from you. But your INERA now is digital. Your INERA is digital. They can't literally take that away from you. Somebody cannot just meet you now and say, how much is in your pocket? Give me the money. No, when you have INERA, nah, that can't happen. So the government can monitor INERA. This is one thing I would want a lot of people to know. The government can actually monitor the transactions of the users of INERA. CBN, through CBN, they can do that. They can track your transaction and they can monitor you. All right. So these are part of the ideas behind CBDCs. They created it to store value. They created it to be a monetary reserve to the normal Naira we have. In case there's a decline in cash, there's the INERA there. The CBN is going to be responsible for the flow, the circulation, and the regulations governing the INERA. But your Bitcoin now, no central authority is governing it. So, and the government is afraid of the kind of fraudulent activities that can go on with currencies like Bitcoin, for example. People can just launder money through Bitcoin and do a lot of stuff. So, in sense or in awareness of that, to kind of put that in a box that is under control, they created the INERA. So with the INERA, they can track your transactions, they can monitor your transactions, they can know what you are doing, and then it's also built on a public distributed ledger system. So everybody can track other people, everybody can see other people transactions. If you make a transaction, you can see it, and the other person too can see it. Other people can see it too. It's built in a way everybody can see it. It can be tracked and it can also be monitored. So and part of the ideas behind why they created CBDCs is to increase the level of financial inclusion. There are so many people that can't create bank accounts because of either they don't have access to where banks are, or there are just so many Nigerians that are unbanked. There are so many Nigerians that don't have bank accounts. But with INERA now, okay, we regardless of your economic status, poor, rich, middle class, you can create an account. You can create an account. So they are increasing financial inclusion. They are trying to bring every citizen of Nigeria into the banking system or into the financial system of banking. So by creating INERA, you just have to simply put your BVN, put your date of birth, and put your name, and that's all. It's done. Okay, so they also created INERA to reduce fraudulent activities and avoid counterfeit money in circulation and loss of funds. When you have the normal Naira note, you can be easily robbed, but with INERA, that doesn't happen easily. The government cannot track the government cannot track your Bitcoin transactions. They can't track all those stuff. You can put 1 billion naira in Bitcoin today and send it to your friend in Australia. The government can't see that. Okay, so they want to have power over that in some way. So they created a digital currency that's governed by the Central Bank of Nigeria. So that way they can track your transactions and monitor the transactions. So I'll stop at this point so my other mentors can go on and explain more about the central bank digital currencies and then INRA. Thank you very much, sir. I'm grateful for this opportunity.
Oh wow, wow! This is great. This is massive. I believe we are learning. I believe we are learning a lot. That's a great one. That's a great one. Okay, without wasting our time, I know time is very valuable. So I'll be calling up the next speaker. Uh, he's a great guy. BillionAireSon. It's an honor to have you here, sir. He's part of the academy and he's a boss. He's a king in the DeFi space. Over to you, boss.
All this talk where you just a talk for you like this. All this talk where you just a talk. Now you sabi now crypto Ohms I know. And your back I do. Adex, that's really a nice one. That's really nice. That's powerful guy. You sabi work. You sabi work. You sabi work. You sabi work. Okay. Good
Thank you
evening,
very much, sir.
everybody. Good evening, everybody. So speaking is your favorite BillionAireSon, and I'll be talking on INERA. Believe me. So we're going to we'll make it a serious something. Let's not be too serious because our country is not actually serious. You understand? So let's try to make it interactive. Even our president said, serious. They tell us that they ban Twitter. Even till today, Twitter not see they work. If they want post official news now for official information, they go post them for the Twitter where they ban. So even our country is not serious. So right now, let's play along and let's make sure we are following up. So before we continue, before I go ahead, I want us to make an affirmation. Repeat after me. I am the righteousness of Christ. I am a billionaire son. Nigeria no go spoil me. Nigeria no go make me shake. I stand gidigba for grand. Nothing dey shele. Wealth will be my portion. Lack will not be my portion. In the name of Jesus. So let's continue. Thank you, Lord Jesus, for this. So basically, my friend and student also has said a lot about INERA, the CBDCs. Now, what is INERA? I'll just give a very simple explanation. I like using results to speak, right? Reality to speak. So now let's talk about INERA. INERA is not a cryptocurrency. Let's not make that mistake. It's not a cryptocurrency. Now, on defining cryptocurrency, there is a difference. You can say INERA is a currency, not a cryptocurrency. Crypto means something is hidden. Something is hidden in a cryptographed form. It means it's written in a language that can only be understood by those that do what? That are into crypto. So INERA is not a cryptocurrency. It's a public currency, Nigerian currency. You understand? Now, I'm going more to explain what is INERA. Now, do you actually remember? I don't know how many of us did EFX. Before you have to EFX investment, those years when investment they reign now, where we say they won't use they won't use investment kill us. They put us back to zero, but God is bigger than them. Now INERA and EFX then had the token. For you to do that investment, you have to first convert your Naira into EFX. Please follow the picture. Just get me as I'm talking. You have to convert your Naira into EFX. Now, EFX is what you can use to trade on the platform. And you cannot trade it any other place except from what? On the EFX platform. Now, I don't know if you also remember Cryptia investment. Crypto investment, same thing. They created a token. Not even a token. Created a currency that can help them easily rug pull. See, they want to easily rug pull. So it is so in case they want to do anything, in case they want to own your power, in case they want to chop your life, anything they want to do, that's why they created that currency. It's basically meant for what? Nigerians in Nigeria. Sure, we understand. So now let's go. So now, why do you think Nigeria that was talking about cryptocurrency, that banned cryptocurrency, now come about and say, let's now join the masses. Let's join the rest of the world. Let's join them. Let's now do crypto. But now you first ban crypto now. Now you're bringing in a currency. Are you seeing all of these things that make it look like crypto? Now, you never even check and say, instead of me, you find most of your developers. Now, to see that your country, Nigeria, does not support young people, find most of the developers and do what? Create a token. Maybe that one will even better. In a way, make it decentralized. At least they'll earn gas fees along the way. At least to help them. People will invest into it along the time if they keep their rep. When Nigeria cannot be trusted, even Buhari said, they don't trust them. He don't even trust himself. So they wouldn't trust themselves enough to create a decentralized currency. I really understand it. So now, after they banned all of these things, they said, okay, let's join the rest of the world and do what they are doing. But then, if you want to be smart, nobody's expecting you to create a new thing. What do? That same thing that has been there, you rebrand it. That style, pepper soup, make them sweet, sugar, perere. Make everywhere do all right. Make your body dey sweet. That's what you're supposed to do. Not create a new thing. Now, Nigeria as a whole, they are bringing in what is it called? Naira. Why don't they adapt a cryptocurrency? Adopt the cryptocurrency that other part of the world are trading. Why don't they do that? Now let's talk about El Salvador. El Salvador saw the need to increase their country's financial stability, to build them up, to bring out name. What did they do? They adopted crypto as their official currency. Okay, now let's ask ourselves, why did they not create, what is it called? A token. Why did they do that? They adopted. Now, what unique did they do? The rest of the world are not yet adopting cryptocurrencies. So what did they do? They first adopted cryptocurrencies, made it official. Now, gave most of their citizens $30 worth of Bitcoin. Investing it into the future, into the world of cryptocurrency. Now, with this, they're having more investment to hold in case of inflation in the country, in case of one thing happen. Do you know that this Naira cannot be spent in other places of the world? No. It's only in Nigeria. It can only be spent what? In Nigeria. So, the reason why Nigeria created this thing is not useful. They just want to do what? Own power. Now, let's move forward to, actually, they say everything they create has an advantage and also a disadvantage. Even devil has seen they said, in get advantage. He go give you sharp money. No be so. Yes, now. Now sharp money they find. He go give you sharp money. Sharp. You go chop your life. Oh yeah, you are 20 years old. You do money ritual. You kill one person, chop your life. Yeah. Before you know it, that 20 years you are living. 30 years you don't die. The people who chop that money they suffer. Now you don't bring suffer into your family lineage. The devil now has a hand into your son name. What your father did not do, you are doing. Even your father did it, you're making it worse. So the devil has an advantage of giving you quick money and take your life, destroy your generation and family. So everything has an advantage, has a disadvantage. Now, so what are the advantages of the what of the in era by Nigerians, by Nigeria, our President Buhari, because Naim bring him. He talks in a central bank of Nigeria. Okay, oh no wahala, central bank of Nigeria. And nothing can be issued without the help of without Buhari being in support of it. Nothing can be issued. So the governments are totally in charge of it. Now, so what are the advantages for this? Now, businessmen can actually join this. Even me and you too can actually join this. Now, they did this so that they can increase the digital transactions in our country, Nigeria. They want to increase our digital transactions. Normally, our digital transactions, cryptocurrency, and all of these things. You know, Nigeria tops the is one of at least top 4 or top 5 of the most the country that trades cryptocurrency the most. Nigeria tops it, right? So I think one of the reasons why they banned crypto was okay. Now our country they trade cryptocurrency, but money they went out our hand. So they decided to ban cryptocurrency, but they don't understand they brought fame and more intelligence into the world of cryptocurrency. So they did it to increase the digital transactions in our country. So as of 2020, the scorecard of Nigeria read 2.7 billion transactions, which was approximately 162.9 trillion naira. Do you understand? At 2020 alone. So 162.9 trillion naira transactions digitally were done in Nigeria. So now what happened? So now Nigeria now did this so they could what? So they could they now did this in Naira so they could add to it and also do what? Chop gas fee. Yes, they want to chop gas fee. All those small gas fee that Binance matching they collect. All those, let me say, $0.1. Nigeria won't chop their all these penny things. You know like better thing. Nigeria, they say like better thing. They won't find a way to see money put for their pockets. At least those who get Bitcoin, if you go sell them, buy in Naira, they think say go pump. In Naira can never pump. So let's continue. Another advantage of it is what? They created this. They created it to do what? It's more like they created a cryptocurrency to make transactions cashless. Now, I don't actually have to bother a lot going to buy something in an institution. You understand? For instance, if I'm going to a big institution now, let me say I'm going to one government house, or let's say the bank wants to pay house rent, right? In my house, I would have moved all my money, converted them to Naira, right? Now, when I get to the bank, all I have to do is to scan the barcode. See, I don't even understand this book. Which day was that? I opened my GT app. I don't see Naira for them. They're not forcing me to use it. They are forcing me to use it. They didn't tell me that they want to put it in my app, my own app, where I use my MB download. Put my money inside. Now they come put in Naira section for them, make I click on. I see this thing now. They are forcing me to do what I don't want to do. Is it by force? It's not by force. Let's continue. So now they're making it an easy transaction. Easy transaction, right? So everybody can go cashless. No, actually, no, it's very safe. Just like me now. If I do like this now, person ask me, sir, please, I'm not eating for 72 years. There's nothing in my life to eat. Sir, please, can you help me with something? Normally, I can actually help you. Normally. Or now, if I go to my account, nothing is there. I cannot start converting crypto to cash. No, nah. So it has not saved me the stress of spending. So I'll just tell you, sorry, all my money, I've moved it to. Normally, I move my money. If money they enter my account, I move and go my wallet. So what am I having it there for? So it saves you safety from spending too much. It saves you the stress of saying criminal, they catch you for road B2B to collect your money. It saves all of those things, makes you go cashless, easy payments. You know how sweet it is now. You just go somewhere, scan a barcode, they withdraw the money, and it's that easy. We're not bringing out ATM and all of those stuff. No, it's just very easy. So easy. No, so that's true. to go cashless. That's one advantage of this era. Make easy payments, transfers to institution. Now easy transfers also, like I said, transfers to foreign countries. Now, as at 2019, reduction of transaction costs. Now, as at this is another advantage, reduction of transaction costs. Now, as at 2019, 123.8 billion dollars came into Nigeria. You know, when you are buying cars, you are buying tomatoes, chickens, goats from different countries, right? Bringing it to Nigeria. Now, even a lot, our consumer officers now, if they charge you this one, charge you that one, charge you this one, they talk a lot of things just to collect your money. You understand? So they will charge you a lot. For instance, you can buy a car of 5 million, and they can charge you up to 1 million naira, 500,000 naira for bringing that car to Nigeria. So now, Naira came into the picture to reduce transaction costs, right? To reduce transaction costs, you don't have to pay so much. Now, you won't have to do a lot of things, bringing in money to Nigeria, you will pay so much. No, it saves that stress, right? Now, what other advantage does Naira have? I'm asking you that question. I'm not expecting you to answer. Let's ask ourselves in our head. Naira, what other advantage can you even solve, say, better than other decentralized cryptocurrencies? Nothing. They're trying to be different, but they failed. Now let's go to disadvantages. This is where the problem comes now. This is where the problem does what comes. Now, first of all, Naira is risk-oriented. Naira is what? Risk-oriented. Like my addict said, Kerux, like he said, they will force you to do what? Do what you don't want to do. Spend money you don't want to spend. Do you know the country can actually put a crime on you to tell you did something? For instance, now police can just look your guy, you come on your button when you dey drive. They show girls where they outside your air, the air where they your chest. Say you want jam them, oh yeah, your money na 50K. You no pay them now, go carry you go station. If they talk, they will tell you anything you say will be used against you in the law courts. Like that, you don't close your mouth to. That's what can actually happen. Naira is risk oriented. A lot of things are with it. Cryptocurrencies do not have anybody controlling them. They don't. Remember why I define cryptocurrencies are? So they don't have the bodies controlling them. They are built on their own, working on their own. But this one get body. I feel woke up one day now, same and do anything I want to. Now let's go further. Like I said, it is what risk oriented. Now, Naira is not trusted. It's not trusted. Okay. Look at our country that's trying to help us. Our country, Nigeria. Now let's be truthful to ourselves. So let's be very truthful to ourselves. Our country that want to make everywhere efficient and easy. I repeat, the reason why they was created in Naira is to do what? Monitor transactions in the country. The reason also is to also do what? Reduce black market trading in Nigeria. And they want to belong. And also, them say they want to do their own fraud too. They want get more money where they go they spend outside. Believe me, you can't tell me Osimba just children in Nigeria, all of them. Why will they leave Nigerian school and take the children outside? Carry the same money where they pay them for year, go they spend them outside. What is our leader showing us? So there's no trust. Naira is not trusted. Now let's talk about the Lekki toll gate of a thing. Let's talk about what happened at that period of time, enters and stuff. Did you see the kind of support our country gave to us? Check about all of those things. They want to improve the country, right? Yes. That's true. That's nice. Oh, beautiful. Wow. Glory to God. Hallelujah. What kind of support did they give us? They were shooting at what? Their own citizens. They don't even have trust and respect for their own flag. They can't swear oaths. They can't even pledge. So there is no trust in Naira. There is no trust. Naira is a replica of Nigeria. See, it is who you are. What you are is what you create. See, lion no dey born dog. Lion no dey born dog. Ants no dey make aeroplane. Sorry, no dey fit born aeroplane. E no dey happen. It is what you are that you create. So what did they create? They created non-trust currency. Naira is equal to what? On not trusted currency. That is what Naira is. Let's go ahead. What are also the risk of CBDs? Remember that what centralized authorities, centralized currency. One is for rock pool. One is for rock pool. I'm sure if you are well oriented or we are learning about cryptocurrencies and stuff, you should understand what rock pool is. Right? But some of us might not really get it. Rock pool in a layman's term is I have access to your money. For instance, me and you now, we are saving money in an account. Tomorrow, me and you are happy or spending money like that. Tomorrow, I'll just wake up and do what? Can collect all the money. Money that me and you are planning that we can do better things in the future. Tomorrow, wake up and can collect all the money. What will happen? Then you will have a crime. They have killed me. They have killed me. All our life with this boy, I don't trust him. Try see what he did to me. He will suffer. You start seeing a lot of things. You don't, but my guy, they have pull you. They are see. Your friend on the top life. It's okay. You know, don't want hotel for Dubai. Carry girls, get all right. They go 2 by 2 rounds. You are here in Nigeria or wherever you are suffering. So that is what can easily happen with what in Naira. Nigeria can rock pool. Now let's talk about Taliban Bank. What happened to the Talibans? All of a sudden, their bank shut down. People's funds gone. They can't withdraw. If I would have loved to show you a video, people were throwing stones and all of those things. And then securities were there. They are limited to the things you can do outside that bank. They are limited. If you do a lot, they will shoot you, die, you go. That ends you. So they can rock pull you and still tell you don't talk. That is what Naira can do. Are you understanding this? So rock pull. Now, another thing is they can actually have you to pay tax. Man, they go tax you. You also see the way they are taxing our footballers. Footballers and stuff. If you earn so much, Ronaldo, Messi, check all of them that are being taxed. Check those big companies, the kind of taxes they are paying. Because the government knows how much they are earning. So they can put so much tax on you. So much heavy tax on you. Just check crypto. Just check crypto. Now you can have a transaction of $1 million on Binance, and all you have to pay is just $1. Yes. Oh, sorry. Even less than $1. You can just pay 500 Naira. But then they don't burn you where. When you move in Naira of 500 million, when you know they pay up to 1 million Naira. Okay. Even if you're not paying up to 1 million Naira, they are not keeping track because of you. If you continue doing it, the next thing, you know you're registering with, like Kerux said, you're registering with your BVN and all those sorts. So you're registering with your information, everything, your house address. They'll start looking for you. Start looking for what you are doing. Coming to your, before you know, they'll come to your office. They'll put taxes on you. They will not see that you painted your gate green and yellow. They'll not say, Oga, this is where you said inside. Look at this black. There's black dot inside it. You're not supposed to put black dot there. Before you know it, now the next thing they'll not put that mark X there, whatever. They'll not tell you submit to the court or whatever they used to put in that place. Then when you come to the court, they will not judge against you. When they judge against you, what happens? They'll pay you a fee to pay. If you don't pay, they will shoot your account. So you pay heavy taxes because they can track your transactions to the core, to the very core. Transactions are being tracked. Don't be saying shalala. They track forget, bros. They are tracking you. For the big boys, we can't move money like that. So another disadvantage is what? They have track records of everything you are doing. Everything you are doing. Yeah, they know it is. Now let's check how beautiful the blockchain is. So damn, I love this, man. The blockchain is beautiful. Believe me, I can make transactions and stuff, man, and do what? Nobody, people know say I move that money, but nobody fit come my house, come arrest me, say, Alpha guy, this money where you move, how you take get am? How you take turn billionaire overnight? It dey happen for crypto. But if you don't stop now, when you say you get 500 million for your account, bros, come that account, they don't lock am. If you go to the bank, they will talk. Guy, at the end of the day, they might just give you 10 million or 1 million naira from that account. Or they might never give you everything, your money is gone. They will tell you you're not trading, you're not doing something legit enough. You might have done fraud. If fraud, and at the end of the day, they will put you for sale. So you can track transactions 3 core. Now to the last. They want to make a currency. What are they doing? They're using BVN. They won't join, they won't belong.
Hello, sir. Are you there?
I believe he's having network issues.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Welcome back, sir. I hear you.
Wow,
Yes,
where did I
sir.
stop? I didn't even know I went out. What did you guys hear me say last?
We're talking about 600 million. And they have 100 million naira in their account. They can easily lock up the money and then possibly lock you up in a police station, in a cell.
Yeah. All of those things. Thank you very much, Next Media. So that's one thing too. Having to do what? Having to what? Because they have your records and stuff. Advantages. Now, BVN, like I said, nobody wants to create something like, see, waiting person for this life now won't create again. New thing they won't create. Tell me, which new thing they won't create? Everything that's been created is just a rebranding of something that's been created. Innovation out of innovation. Nobody wants you to do that. Just beautify the one that has been there. Just think about El Salvador, Brazil, other big countries adopting cryptocurrency. You come, you say you want to do your own because you want to pull us. You want to see own power. This is something Nigeria has come to do with us. Just like they are taking our blood, guys, they want to take our money. Nigeria wants you to be poor. That's why even our government, every other person would have money, make the money, go abroad, build houses, send their children there. They won't do all of these things in Nigeria. And they will ban us from doing all of those things ourselves. So this is where I stop. So listening is your favorite billionaire son. Speaking is your favorite billionaire son. So I'm done. Thank you very much, sir. And over to you.
Oh, wow. Man, this is cool. I like the fact that you try to relate with everybody the way we understand. That's perfect. Thank you
Exactly what
so
I do.
much, Brilliant. Thank you so much. I believe we are all getting knowledge. I believe we are getting value. Okay. It's almost 9, so we'll just try to wrap up things. We'll just take us through the third outline, then we just have questions. We'll continue from there. Okay. If you are following, let me see comments on the chat box. If you have been following, let me see comments on the chat box and be sure that I carry everybody along in this session. All right. So the speakers have done justice to what we are talking about today. I will just try to talk on the last outline we have there. CBDCs and cryptocurrencies. Right. Okay. My name is Omega Ibudu, just introduction. Influencer, community manager, crypto, blockchain, blah blah blah. I'm a DeFi tutor. DeFi tutor of Pmoney Academy. I'm based in Makurdi, Benue State. I'm so passionate about the whole crypto space, teaching people about digital assets and all of that. So by the end of today's webinar, to be able to understand what CBDCs are. And I want to really appreciate our speakers today. First speaker, the second speaker, they've done justice to most of things we have there. So I'll just run through then have to talk about the third outline, CBDCs and cryptocurrencies. So we'll have our questions and answers, right? So basically from all they've established, I believe by now we should all get to probably define what CBDCs are perfectly well. So like you should just know that CBDCs in the first place is just a digital form of a country's currency, right? Like Kerux said, and like BillionAireSon said too. It's just a digital form of your country's currency. Now I want to take note of this: operated or controlled by the central bank, which could be on a private blockchain, right? Depending on their build. I believe you are following, guys. Like I actually made this all bold because of the striking point there. You know, the last elimination series we spoke about centralized and decentralized systems, right? Now, if you are talking about CBDCs, you make you to understand better if you follow through that last elimination series. Now, your CBDC is actually controlled. Okay, it's more like a centralized system. It's controlled by what? By the central bank. Okay, but now it's like a digital currency. Like they've established that to us. How you have your Naira, like Kerux did a perfect job on that, and you have that all digitalized. Okay, that's why it's called e-Naira, electronic Naira. You get digital Naira. That was the meaning e-Naira. And now this could be on a private blockchain. Now, most of the times we all read and learn about cryptocurrencies, blockchain technology. But if you go much more deeper, you know that they actually have what we call a private blockchain and a public blockchain. Actually, yeah, those are actually different facets of blockchain. When the blockchain is private and when the blockchain is public, they actually mean different things, right? And most especially what's the kind of blockchain they use on CBDCs, why it's very possible to have your fiat being more like in digital form. That's why it's more like a private blockchain. That means not public. So you can't see my inner account. I can't see your inner account. You get that's the whole difference. BillionAireSon was trying to make us understand. Like I have mine, you have yours. It's not like if your wallet address. So if you give me a wallet address, I can go and check it out on a particular BSC scan or ETA scan, Solana scan, and all of that. Because those are all public blockchains you get. So you can search things, check transactions yourself. You can see it like publicly. It's open to everybody. Unlike what we have here, like the CBDCs, this one is more like a private blockchain. This one is controlled. Some particular set of persons can actually see, not everybody. If I give you my Naira barcode, what I think I posted that on my status, if I give you my Naira maybe ID for you to send me funds, you can't do anything with it. You can't check it to know the amount of funds I have in my account and all of that. That's just a basic understanding you get. Okay, so it's a private blockchain, depending on the build. Now, they're also called enemies of decentralization. Yes, I got this when I was doing my research, and it's actually struck a point. Like the whole idea of CBDC is just against decentralization. Just know that CeFi against DeFi. If you watch the previous Vision Series video, you understand what I'm talking about. This is more like CeFi against DeFi. Like they're against you being your own boss. They're against you taking control of yourself. That's exactly what our speaker BillionAireSon was trying to make us understand. Okay, they are totally against you. That's what you should understand. In as much as we not just totally just come out and strike out the whole idea of CBDCs. Yeah, they have. I like the whole idea. I like the whole idea behind it. It's quite cool, right? To have our fiat currencies much more in a digital form. It's quite cool. Like when we're having a class on CeFi and DeFi, you see how that I made that disadvantage known to us, that your fiat currencies could have issues. But with the help of CBDCs now, the whole double spending problem will not be there, right? Because this is now done on a private blockchain. That's one of the massive advantages you get. They are sending funds to somebody by the help of CBDCs built on private blockchain. You might not have issues of double spend, right? You might not have issues of trying to make payments and all of that. We don't have issues with that. That's one of the major advantages we have here. Okay. Now CBDCs and cryptocurrencies. Okay, let's look at the similarities. We should note these, guys. Let's note this. I believe we are all following.
Absolutely.
All right. Now we have our similarities, guys. Okay. You can see your comments. You're following. Now we have our the similarities we have here for you to relate with both better. Okay. Now payment systems stability, like I established from the last slide, right? We've all spoken about that. We spoke about that. BillionAireSon also spoke about that. Because this is actually digital form, because this is an electronic Naira, it makes our payment system quite stable, right? The whole double spend problem, the major use case of Bitcoin and all of that, you want to make payments, you will not spend time. Somebody will complain that they not receive alert and all of that and all of that. In as much as we try to beat down these things, we try to say Nigeria is failing, this one is bad, that one is not working, this one is not working. I want to understand that Naira is quite cool. Like CBDCs, even though we know their intent, right? But on the long run, like if you notice, I actually said that we can't totally wipe out centralized systems. That's just what we should embrace. Okay, that's what we should come to understand. You can't totally wipe a centralized system. Actually, you can't, right? So most times, you just get to understand how these things work. Okay, so the whole payment system stability is quite possible with the help of Naira, even though we know that that's possible with our cryptocurrencies, right? But now CBDCs makes that possible too, because now they all have that on a private blockchain, right? They have easier cross-border payment. Okay, I think I established this too. You want to make payment to somebody outside Nigeria, maybe the person wants to get all paid in Naira or something like that. Maybe you want to order for your goods and all of that. So all those payments stuff, we don't have issues with that. Okay, the whole idea of CBDC is like they help they make cross-border payments quite easier, right? Like they're making your payments. Maybe somebody is in Nigeria, I want to pay for your flight ticket to Singapore, want to pay for your flight ticket to Europe and all of that. You can make payments with your Naira, and you get everything quite, it's cheap, it's fast, okay, and it's reliable and all of that. I think I was listening to the news one time where someone made a statement that the amount of funds the government spends on printing your Naira notes, I was shocked. I heard about is it $240 billion or thereabouts? I can't really tell. But I was shocked actually, because it was quite high how they spend money to print our fiat currencies, our Naira notes. Okay, they spend a whole lot of money to do that. But the help of Naira, you can see how that the whole funds that is spent there will no longer be there, right? So that's actually the good side you also look at. A cashless policy, very, very important. You know, most times we don't like working about with cash. The rules clear the air about that, right? How that you could be in the car, you can have your 50 billion in your inner account. Okay, nobody knows and all of that, right? So the whole cashless policy is quite a good thing. It's a good thing for CBDCs, right? So that's quite cool. Then we have safety and security. Very, very true. Okay. With the help of cryptocurrencies, like we all know, you have your funds in your wallet. Nobody can access your wallet. You are the only one that have access to your wallet with the help of the whole numeric phrase you have and all of that, right? You are the only one that have access to your wallet. That is why is what we call pseudomonas. Like once something is pseudomonas, it means you don't know this person. It's more like a ghost face you get. So you can't really tell this is that, and all. So because of that, it's quite secure, safety, and security. So CBDCs, this is the similarities you also know about CBDCs with cryptocurrencies, right? So this is what they have in common, and it's quite a good thing. It's quite a good thing. Like I can't imagine walking around with funds. You too, you can't imagine that. I think somebody gave an instance last time out that he went to withdraw funds. He was debited. The funds not come out. You make payments. The person will not see your alert and all of that and all of that. All those glitches in the whole financial system now will all be fixed with the help of CBDCs. That's what you should know. That's what you should actually know. Okay, like the whole established. This is not cryptocurrency. That's why I'm trying to clear the air. And I think they've done that too. Okay, this is just what they have in common. But your cryptocurrency is quite different from your CBDCs. And I'm going to clear the air on that. Now we have our differences. If you attended the last simulation series, you know very, very well when we talk about CeFi and DeFi. Your CBDCs, they are all CeFi. They are centralized financial systems, right? They are not DeFi. They are not decentralized financial systems. When a system is centralized, it means it has a point of control. Your CBDCs are controlled by what? By the central banks, the financial sectors. Okay, the whole monetary bodies you have. They are the ones that one or the other control the CBDCs. So the whole the whole banks we have, they are all answerable to CBN, right? So central bank digital currency, one or the other will work together with the banking system in a particular country. So they are all CeFi, centralized financial systems. So when I was trying to create my e-wallet and all of that, I saw how that you have to tell them the bank you're using, you input your BVN and all of that. You get it. One way or the other, you are linked to your bank, okay? So they are all linked to it. There is a center of control. It's a controlled system. That's your CBDC, CeFi. So now it's not DeFi. It's not your cryptocurrency. It's not a decentralized financial system, okay? Very, very different. In your decentralized financial system, you are your own boss. You have your own wallet. You know what's up with your funds. The whole public blockchain. Everything is open. You can go there and check transactions and all of that. Unlike your CBDCs, understand the difference, guys. Unlike your Naira, your Naira, once you carry out a transaction, it's just you that want to check. It's not an open transaction. You get. It's not as though you make payment. I want to show somebody that this is my account. Maybe you give me your barcode. I will scan and tell you your account balance. Tell you that you're holding Naira, you're holding pounds, you're holding dollars. No, not like that. Not like that actually, right? There's no this difference. Their ownership. Like your CBDC is one word that you think you are the owner, right? But I tell you, is controlled by the bank, that is CBN. You are not totally the owner of your funds, so to say. Somebody knows the amount of funds you have in your account. That's what happens with our centralized systems. Your banks, your bank accounts, the amount of money you have in your accounts. Everybody knows it. That is probably the people working in the bank, people checking your account managers. They can tell you this is the funds your account. They can tell you the amount that enters your account, this amount that left your account, and all of that, right? So all those things is actually what is obtainable on a centralized system. So this level of ownership is not known in a centralized system. That's your CBDCs. So CBDCs is one of the you don't have total control, guys. Like you are not the total owner of your funds, so to say. One of the whole bankers, the whole financial systems are aware of what you have. They can control those things actually. They can. Unlike what you have on our cryptocurrencies, like you should understand that your cryptocurrencies, you are your own boss. Okay, you control your funds and all. Understand that too. So no privacy. That's what you should understand. No privacy in CBDCs. Yeah. One or the other, this is controlled and regulated by the central bank. Okay, central bank will go together with other banking sectors like your GTB. You can name them Kuda, Wema Bank, Access. Name all of them. Right? They are working. They are all answerable to central bank. So there's a center of control. Once you send like central bank digital currency, that's your center of control. So there's no privacy, guys. I don't have the privacy of me owning my own funds. I know how much I have, all of that and all of that. You can't check my account until I give you access to probably my wallet address and all of that, right? It's not the case here. Your CBDCs they actually function that way. So you need to do the whole KYC, right? You know your customer, your AML, but AML is anti-money laundering and all of that. You have to get all of this done before you have to really open an account and all of that. You don't just operate an e-wallet without a bank. You get understand that you don't just operate your CBDCs without a bank account. So all of that, not like somebody can just go up, create wallets, buy cryptocurrency, send it to your wallet. Maybe you might choose not to have a bank account. You can't say an amount of USDT or amount of BNB is tied to someone's UBA account. It's not possible, right? So that one is quite private. Unlike your CBDCs, there's no privacy. So when we talk about CBDCs and cryptocurrencies, that's just the difference you also understand. We'll talk about, your cryptocurrency, you have started talking about your market cap, you start talking about your total supply, circulating supply, all of that, all time high, all time low, and stuff. You're not having that on your CBDCs, right? Just understand, you don't. You're not having all of that. You can't say this is the total supply of Naira. This is the total supply of dollar. This is the total supply of Japanese yen. As time goes on, definitely there's even yens now in digital form actually in China and all of that. So you can't say this is the amount they have produced and all. That's a clear difference between digital currencies and that's your centralized digital currencies and what are your cryptocurrencies. That's the major difference you guys should actually understand. Okay. Then this last point you should note will actually clear the air perfectly well. Now your cryptos, this does the summary of everything I'm talking about. Your cryptos is a permissionless and public blockchain. Okay, while your CBDCs is a permissioned and private blockchain. You get when you say it's permissionless, it means you don't need anybody's permission to carry out transactions in your account. You don't need anybody's permission to do whatever you want or to send out your funds because with CBDCs, one of this controlling body will dictate the amount of funds entering your accounts, the amount of funds leaving your accounts. They know the amount of funds that will enter your account. They will block your account. You get it? They track the movement of funds in your account. That means they have what permission. It means they have permission to interact with your accounts. Unlike your cryptos, which you are the one that have that permission, unless you give somebody access to your private keys and all of that to your wallet, all right? But you have this permissionless means you are the one that have total control of your funds. Then when the blockchain is public and when the blockchain is private, you should understand the difference too. A public blockchain is one that everybody have access to it, more like an open ledger. That is your blockchain technology. A digital ledger that is open to everybody. Everybody checks out transactions. You can kind of transaction and show somebody the transaction ID, hash ID. Somebody clicks on it and goes to a particular scan, your BSC scan, Ether scan, Solana scan, and all of that. Check out the transaction to make sure that, okay, of a truth, you send the funds and all. Unlike your CBDCs, where you have a private blockchain, if I make a transfer of 10,000 to a particular person, that person can actually see that transaction. Actually, no, the person can't. It's private because it's just you and that controlling body that can actually see that transaction. Hope you are getting this. When a blockchain is public, it means the digital ledger that is public. When a blockchain is private, it means the digital ledger that is private. So one word that these cryptos and CBDCs actually run on a blockchain. Understand this? That's the whole idea. The whole central bank, they've seen the whole idea of cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, and they're trying to bring it in a centralized manner. That's the major difference. Okay. CBDC is actually centralized, controlled. That's the difference. And it's a private blockchain, permissioned. So they can take total control of your funds, right? Unlike your cryptos where you have you are your own boss here. That's just the major difference, guys. I believe we are clear on this, okay? So the whole idea of your Naira, it just gives you the liberty of making payments fast, secure, security, and all of that, okay? They have similarities with your cryptocurrencies. Then when you talk about the differences, that is just the major difference you should all know. It doesn't have a market cap, doesn't have total supply, circulating supply, whatever. The whole thing is just that it's built on a private blockchain. And because of the whole idea of blockchain technology and all, it makes payment to be faster, easier, and all of that, right? So that's what you should actually understand about Naira and CBDCs. Okay. So let's take questions and answers. Let's take questions and answers. I believe everything that was done is quite clear to everyone. So we're taking question and answer now. All right. Are we together, guys? Let's take questions.
Yes, absolutely. So please, if you have any questions regarding the CBDCs or Naira, you can ask your questions now.
All right, yeah, taking questions now. But those you don't ask a question, just signify you want to ask a question. Just signify, so I will unmute you and you just ask a question. All right, I can see GJ, I can see Fanny. Okay, I can see Joseph Forex, I can see Waira Cryptoson. All right, okay, let's have Joseph. Joseph, you can ask your question now. I've allowed you to speak. That's a question now, Joseph. Then Waira should get ready after Joseph.
Okay. Good evening, boss. Lovely lecture. Kerux, BillionAireSon, and my ogas. So my question is this. It's on the issue of integration and acceptance. Like, how far do you see Naira going in the Nigerian system? We have come to know that the government will do whatever they want. If they decide, that they want to make it all legal, like it is going to become the new digital currency in a way that probably they integrate it into salaries, into
Okay.
banking system. Like, how far do you
Okay.
see Naira being implemented into the Nigerian system? And then acceptance. We as
Okay.
a people, we don't trust our government. We know how funny they can be at times. So if they start putting these implementations, how much do you see, or how willingly do you see that people will adopt this? If power is given to us to be able to determine whether or not this currency will go far, the acceptance and then the integration. So that's my question.
All right. All right. All right. Okay. Kerus, can you take that, or should I just go on? I would love those to
Okay.
take that.
Okay.
All right.
So let me answer this. Okay, thank God. I'm happy you're even aware of. Sorry, I didn't speak about that aspect because of I had to rush because there are plans already. There are plans the government have already to implement the use of INERA in the sense that they would be using it as a form of payment of salary in the sense that all government workers will be receiving their salary in INERA. And now I want you to know that there's a very large number of Nigerians that are working for the government, and they are also making arrangements for also private businesses to make payments to their citizens with INERA because a lot of businesses are connected with the CBN or with the Bank of Nigeria with the fact of paying taxes. A lot of businesses had to pay taxes, so with that connection also, they are going to put it into private businesses, private companies to make payments of salaries to their workers using INERA. So how far INERA would go in sense of adoption is that we will see forceful adoption. If it is about adoption, we are going to be seeing so much of forceful adoption because I saw plans using the ministries of education, civil servants, the military, and public workers. They are going to all be receiving salaries with INERA, and they are also making arrangements to legalize it amongst private institutions and companies to also make payments to their workers using INERA. So we are going to see massive adoption, forceful massive adoption, in the sense that you have no option. You are also going to be legalizing it that payments should be made with INERA. For example, places like ShopRite, places like super malls, places like marts, malls, restaurants, they would legalize it to some extent to some people that are very much connected with paying taxes. There are small people like Buka, you know, Yasule that sells rice at the street side. Those ones don't pay taxes, right? So they might not get to them, but to every level the government can reach, they would ensure that they legalize INERA as a form of exchange. So you go to some places, you want to pay money for for the things you've bought, and they will tell you INERA, please. And you'll be like, take 5,000, they'll say INERA, please, because it's been legalized there. All right. So you would have to exchange with INERA. It would become forceful. So how far INERA will go in terms of adoption is we'll see massive forceful adoption. If you're talking in terms of the value of it, it has a monetary reserve of our normal Naira notes, and then it has equal value with the normal Naira. So how far INERA would go in terms of value is equivalent to how far our Naira note is going. So if you're seeing Naira depreciating over time in value, also expect INERA to depreciate over time in value. people should stop looking at it as if one naira grow to 700 naira, I've made money. Remember that 700 naira, sorry, what's that? Okay, remember that 700 naira equivalent to $1. You're seeing it that your naira is losing value. So if you're comparing one naira also to 700, to if you're comparing one naira, which is the same thing as 700 naira to dollar, it's also the same thing as your naira has less value. So in terms of value, it is equivalent to the naira note. In terms of adoption, you will be seeing massive forceful adoption. Does that
Perfect.
answer your
Perfect.
question, Saudi?
Yeah, yeah, you
That's
did.
Hello?
Thank
perfect.
you very
Okay, sir. Okay.
All right, all right. That's perfect. That's perfect. Adoption is there's no two ways about it. Definitely they will adopt it. It's just that most of the times we Nigerians we try to see like is the word the backside of things. I'm so excited about the whole CBDCs actually. Although apart from Nigeria stuff, I've done research over time and CBDC is quite cool, guys. It's quite cool. And for the fact that Nigeria is trying to do something like this is quite encouraging to me personally. Right? Okay, let's take questions. Waira, are you here? Waira. Okay, I can't see Waira. Because you can speak now. Oh, okay. Waira, sorry. Because don't speak after you, then Waira will come up. Because are you there? Oh, okay, Waira, you can speak now.
much. Okay, sir, can I ask?
You can now. You can.
Okay, thank you so much for this opportunity. Actually, my question is similar to what OG asked, but actually, it's about the adoption of the inner. So, do you think in time to come, our normal fiat currency won't be used anymore because of the adoption of the inner, trying to make everything um, in the technological form of global adoption of technology? And how do you see, won't it affect those who are not into technology, people like parents that are not used to technology, phones and such stuff? For instance, even somebody at the age of the president who doesn't have a good education and such thing, or what if he is forced to use inera and doesn't have such gadgets and those things? How do you think will it be to the country, and how do you think that adoption will be to that such a person?
All right. That's one of the major setbacks we have when a country is underdeveloped, right? That's one of the major setbacks. Most times this is actually what hinders scalability in terms of technology, right? Even in our own cryptocurrency, this is one of the things that can actually affect the way cryptocurrency will move in a particular country. And Nigeria, for example, the whole idea of people not being enlightened about how these things work will bring limitations to the way we scale in terms of the whole use case of in-era cryptos and all of that. Like you said, that's one of the backsides of both cryptos and both an in-era. Not everybody will probably have the access to phones. Not everybody will have access to maybe Android phone that could have the whole feature of getting the whole in-era app installed and all of that. Most persons will not have good idea of how these things work. Like I have experiences with lots of persons like that. They don't even want to know what cryptocurrencies are. They don't know how to do all of that. And you get like you said, it's a major setback. It's a major setback. But as much as possible, the government will try to push this thing as much as possible. They try to make people understand how it's easy to adopt, how it's fast to use, and all of that. And they could just try to bring people in as much as they can. But like you said, it's not possible to bring everybody in. Some person will choose to do the old school thing, no matter how you try to make them understand. They'll just choose to be old school. That's the truth. So the government will try to push these things through, but in the same vein, some person will be there that just don't want to do it. They prefer going to their bank and work there, spend transport, go and pay forms to get your funds deposits and all. So some people prefer it that way. But like we all know everything is actually advancing, guys. Everything is advancing. So people are trying to embrace technology. That's the truth. So as much as we can, we embrace it, and those people that don't want to is still fine. But on the long run, it's better you know how these things work. Okay. But like you said, I don't think they'll just totally force everybody to adopt it. Like everybody must use it. No, they can't come up that way. Like that's quite against human rights. Okay, so they can't just come up and say everybody should start using CBDCs. But they just try to make you see how how these things work, how good they are, how it's good to use to make payments and all of that. You can just scan a barcode and get your stuff paid and collected and all of that. So that's just how it is. That's how it is. I believe that's clear.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Viscos, are you there? Ifeanyi, you can ask your question now. Ifeanyi, are you there? Okay. Anyone wants to ask a question? Anyone?
If your
Ifeanyi, you can
background
ask your
is not,
question.
type the message in the comment box.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. If you have a noisy background, just type your question. Just type it in the group. We'll see.
Hello, sir. Crypto Ohms, can you hear me? Good evening.
I can hear you, boss. Evening.
Thank you. It's been a very wonderful lecture with you. I was meaning to ask, since we are talking about the adoption of Naira, is it not going to send into oblivion the traditional banking apps we've been using before now to make same transactions we can process with our e-wallets for the Naira? That's my question.
Yeah, that's a nice one. Okay, Chris, want to speak?
Yes, okay. I think
You
you
can
want to
speak.
answer it,
You can
but let me
speak.
just answer a bit, then you can conclude it, sir.
Answer. Don't worry.
Okay, so when I was giving the ideas, sorry, when I was giving the ideas behind the implementation, or yeah, the implementation of CBDCs and then the Nigerian era, I told you that um I talked about store of value, right? Taking the Naira notes, that's taking our just normal country currency and creating a digital store of value. I also talked about I talked of store of value, and I talked about monetary reserve. So now I talked about monetary reserve. So now let me talk about what the government is doing regarding this now. Creating in era is not to put in to is not to totally eradicate the existence of our normal naira note. It's not like that. In conjunction with the ideas I gave behind the CBDCs, what the Nigerian government want to do, first of all, there are other major things, but let me just lay this ones first, then I'll go to the major reason why, which billionaire son pounded really on, is that they want to have a store of value digitally. All right, they want to put the naira note digitally. There are lots of countries, there are about 83 countries from my research that have started implementing CBDCs. There are about 83, and it's I was surprised, I was shocked to see that it has been happening since 2014. There are about 83 countries that have implemented CBDCs, including Sweden. That's one major one too. So they want to have their currency they want to have their currency in like a digit they want to have a digital store of value for the Nigerian currency, that's for our naira. And then they are creating the naira also for a monetary reserve. Okay, in whatever case that there's decline in cash, we have inera to use. And then creating inera also takes out, there's this manual labor that comes with printing money. There is serious manual labor with printing money from the CBN side. That reduces that so much effort with the existence of inera. Now, what BillionAireSon really pounded upon, right, is that the only major reason why CBN or the Nigerian government is bringing inera into existence is because of control and power, and to put themselves into this new flow or this new system of a cashless society. They don't want to be left out. If they think that if they think they can just keep banning crypto and banning crypto and banning crypto, they would be surprised that Nigerians will be on the top chart of people using crypto in the whole world, and then crypto is banned in the country. because we'd always have our way around it. The government or the CBN want to position themselves into that new flow of a cashless society. That is why they created INERA. So it is not going to totally eradicate the existence of our normal Naira notes. It is just them positioning themselves in for change. I think in 2020, I think, yeah, towards the end of 2020, there's this popular video that circulated the media, or it was probably early 2021. You would see Osimbanjo talking about digital currencies and how in no time, in the nearest future, countries will be forced to implement it into their financial system. And it is very true. Osimbanjo was talking about this prior to the creation of INERA. So in correspondence to that, Nigeria created INERA to position themselves in this new flow of a cashless society, not to be left out, and also to have control, because so many young guys and even politicians and high profile people are laundering money and putting money into cryptocurrencies, taking money through different means, and the government have no idea about it. So even if you will use INERA, at least one, they position themselves in the flow of a cashless society. Two, they've created a means whereby if you decide to use INERA, they will catch you. They go track you. You're using your BVN, they will catch you, they will track you. So they are just actually doing this, to position themselves in evolution, which is cryptocurrencies, digital assets. This is the new finance that's coming also. All right, decentralized finance. They are positioning themselves there. But we are hosting this meeting to make you understand that INERA is not total decentralized finance. As my boss just explained what a private blockchain is, you will see that it is actually CeFi against DeFi. It's actually centralized finance. They are not totally taking out normal Naira notes. Normal Naira notes will still be used. All right, but do you know the amount of money they would make from transaction fees? That alone, they will make so much money. That alone, they can track people that would use it. They would monitor people transactions. All right, so it is not going to totally obliterate the existence of Naira notes. Naira notes are still going to be in use.
Mr.
There's going to be a balance. Have I answered your question, sir?
Please, no, sir, Mr. Kerux, you actually got me wrong. I was not asking my question in reference to what is going to happen to our normal fiat currencies. I was asking on behalf of the traditional commercial banks already in existence, and these commercial banks run mobile apps that will do the same thing the e-Naira wallet will do: pay bills, pay utility bills, process transaction in eateries, pay rent, and all whatnot. And in that sense, it is also CeFi because these commercial banks somehow still report to the Central Bank of Nigeria for transaction tracing. So my question is, how is that going to affect the traditional first bank mobile app, Sterling Bank mobile app, if the e-Naira is going to suffice in the nearest future? Because as we speak, it has been delisted from Google Play. I don't know the efforts they are making to bring it back on Google Play for Nigerians to start using again.
Okay. All
Yes.
right. All right. It's actually back.
Okay.
INERA is on Google Play Store now. Speed Wallet.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, it's
That's just know
back.
that. Yes.
INERA
As
still
Kerux
works.
said, you you can't compare your e-wallet, your bank, your normal bank wallets to INERA, right? You can't compare it to your normal crypto wallets, right? Because that same your banking app, you must have carried that transaction and you notice that sometimes you have glitches. Okay. That same banking app, you must have carried that transaction and most times you'll see failure one or the other. You get one or the other, they have their own backsides. So like they are all answerable to CBN. That's the truth. And for CBN to come up in era, in as much as they I don't think they've made it more like a rule that everybody should use in era and all of that. But they just try CBN will just try to push the whole in era stuff. You can see how if you download your speed wallet now, once you set it up, you see the whole banks that supports it, and you have to link it to the bank they are using. You get something like that. So if you're using your GT Bank, you have to link it to your GT Bank account number, your BVN, and all of that. So if you want to fund your wallet, it should be one of that linked to your GT Bank account. Because something like that. So it's more like they are working together. The whole banking system in the particular countries is actually answerable to the CBN of that particular country, that's the central bank of Nigeria, like CBN we have in Nigeria. So they are answerable to CBN. So one or the other, CBN will try to push the in-air, that is a speed wallet, and they'll try to push it down to the whole banks. They'll try to make the banks know that okay, this is quite cool, this is quite better, and the banks are actually embracing it. Okay, so like they are just working together. That's what you should know. That's what you should know. It should not be an issue for it to scale. If it's scaling, one or the other, the whole banking app will definitely fail. Like people might just stop using it when you start seeing the efficiency in your speed wallets. Okay,
Yeah.
people will start using it, and they'll just convert their funds to be on speed wallets. Get so you can just scan stuff and make payments. You can just scan someone's barcode and make payment. Like those sharp stuff like that. That's the whole idea. That's the idea. So the whole bank they definitely want to embrace this. You can't push your local banking app more than an app that is authorized by CBN. That's just the truth. If you want to even do it,
Yeah.
CBN, the app is it has higher leverage than your local banking app. You get it? Because this is more like a private blockchain. You can't compare it with your banking app that uses a particular maybe programming language and all of that. Okay. So that's just what you don't understand. I believe that's clear now.
And
Yeah,
also
it's
in
clear. Thank you.
addition to that, I though the INERA is still under development, but in slight addition to that, while I was making my research, there's the INERA Speed Wallet and there's the INERA Merchant Wallet. I believe in the nearest future we would see much more implementations or connections of the INERA of the Central Bank of Nigeria with our traditional commercial banks. But our traditional commercial banks also would be coming in play with merchant wallets. If you check from my research I made, their INERA Speed Wallets, that's for just consumers, users of the INERA, and there are also INERA merchant wallets. Traditional commercial banks would be coming into the system using that option too. So what they'll be doing is providing customers with alternative channels for making transactions using INERA. Traditional commercial banks would also be playing this role coming into the system now, so they won't be totally left out. They would also be providing cashback services for customers. It's actually what I'm reading now to you. CBN released all this to the public. So they'll be providing customers with alternative channels for making transactions using INERA. The traditional commercial banks, would be doing this. They will be providing cashback services for customers, and they will be publicizing the option of INERA payments for transactions at merchants' locations. So these are also things that the traditional commercial banks will be doing, and I believe strongly there are even much more things that would be done by the CBN in conjunction with working hand in hands with our traditional commercial banks, so they won't be totally left out of it or go out in use. There is a balance and there is a connection, and we'll see more in the future.
All right, that's perfect. I don't know, BillionAireSon, are you still on the call? I would love to answer this question, sir. Someone asked in the group that this in era, would there be maximum amounts to be transacted a day with it in one account? So the person is trying to ask, would there be a limitation on the amount you transact? BillionAireSon, can you help us with that?
Okay, you all can hear me, right?
Okay.
Can you all hear me?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, based on that question, first of all, let's bring in business to it. All man now for profit. Like I said, the main reason why they did this is to also have power. So that's profits, right? So now, will there be limitations to transactions that will be done? Now, let's check it on both sides. Now, if they are going to be putting on limitations, now remember, like I told you, I said on research as of 2019, over 100 and over 2 points. Let me check. Over 2 points, 8. Okay, $123 billion came into the country, right? Now, if there are going to be limitations, it will actually not
Is that your small?
it will actually not help on what they actually say they want to do. You understand? Like they say they want to make help cash flow, make it easier, come faster, make more transactions to happen. So they shouldn't be what more transact. They shouldn't be what is it called? limitations on your transfers, but then they can actually make it in a way. If your bank account has a restriction, then your in-aira should have a restriction. Now they can actually make it in a way that if for the fact you want to make more transfers, now they will have to charge you more. So they will do it in a way that to favor them. But based on what they said, if you can trust them, there are not supposed to be any limitations on transfers. If they are going to be, then you have to provide more information to have access to that. Now let's check Binance. Let's check other wallets and centralized wallet and stuff. Now Binance will tell you for a day, what you can do is 10 BTCs. 100 BTCs in a day. Right? So there is actually a limitation to that, but it's a very large, so the limitation to what you can transfer, but it's a very large limitation. Sure, you understand? Very large limitation. And why they actually put that is because of banks. Because when you want to move funds and all of those things, you might have to do some that want to go to your normal bank, and it can cause an effect. They'll be like, so this money is coming out from this place. Now, to make the government eye in the company, for instance, Binance. So if there's going to be a limitation, there have to be a large. It won't be so much. The bridge will be so much. You understand? But I'm not expecting for there to be, but there has to be. You get me? Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Let me just add a little to that based on facts that exist. So, in total affirmation to what my boss just said, yes, there would be limitations. Perfectly as he just said, there would be limitations. So, from research I made earlier on, which I wrote, but I could not just say those stuff, no much time. Yes, there are limitations. You see, on Play Store, there's the in-aira speed wallet. There's also the in-aira merchant wallet. And what CBN is basically doing is taking in-aira, working in hands with banks, and then providing in-aira to consumers, to users, to citizens of Nigeria. Now, there would
So
be
that's why I always
bank
ask you
limit.
every time you ask.
There
Sorry
will be
about that,
bank
Kerux. I
limit.
have to turn on my speaker.
Okay, sir, no problem, sir. There'll be bank limits, there'll be balance limits with users of this in-aira speed wallet. So I've downloaded it, I've opened my account. If you download the in-aira speed wallet, there are about 3 tiers. There are about 3 levels. And there's level 0, there's level 1, and there's level 2. So now I think it's based on your level of verification. That's why this thing, as BillionAireSon has hammered many times, if we track you, and the higher they fit track you seriously, they can monitor your transactions and they can track you. Now let me just tell you the levels. Now the level 0, there's level 0, and level 0 has a daily transaction limit. And that daily transaction limit using the in-aira speed wallet is that 20,000 naira. You can only transact between 20,000 naira and 120,000 naira daily. That's if you have only if you're on level 0. If you are on level 0, let me just use tiers. If you have verified your accounts or your in-aira speed wallet to tier 0, you will be entitled to a daily transaction limit of 20,000 naira to 120,000 naira, but nothing max than 120,000 naira. There is level 1. If you have verified your in-aira speed wallet to that level, that's what I mean by verification is providing your identification to yourself. So the easier they can track you, the larger your limits. So this is purely, as my boss also said, CeFi against DeFi. This goes against totally what Bitcoin and altcoin stand for. It stands against decentralization. So for level 1 now, the daily transactions, I wrote it down, sorry. Okay, yes. For level 1, the daily transactions that you are entitled to, or the daily transaction limit on the in-aira speed wallet is between 50,000 naira and 30,000 naira. So if you are verified or you are provided information about yourself that is appropriate to that level 1, then you'll be entitled with the daily transaction limit between 50,000 naira minimum and 300,000 naira maximum. If you have verified yourself to the final level, that is the third level, tier 2. It's actually tier 2. So there's tier 0, tier 1, and tier 2. but using levels is like level 1, 2, 3, right? So level 3, which is tier 2, if you verified yourself to that level, the daily transaction limit is ranging between 200,000 naira and 500,000 naira. All right. And then there's also another level which is higher than this, but from what they provided on the Naira speed wallet, they didn't really categorize it as a level, but I believe it's the highest, and then mostly the merchants use this also. If you have verified yourself up to this particular level, let's call it tier 3. If you have verified yourself up to tier 3, or let's say level 4 now, your daily transaction limit ranges between 1 million naira and 5 million naira. And then for merchants who can be your traditional commercial banks, as Ifeanyi asked earlier, your traditional banks, as they can also be your merchants, them they have no transaction limit at all, because they provide high level of identification and verification with the CBN. I believe they must even be registered with the CBN, so they can be your traditional banks. All right, that's why I started with the fact that CBN is partnering with your traditional banks to provide the INERA to you. So your traditional banks are not going to be left in total oblivion. And then yes, there are transactional limits, and there are about 4 levels actually now. So there's tier 0, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. I just told you the transactional limits. So this is what it is. They totally have control. They totally have means to track you and to monitor your transaction. And the higher you provide them, easy, or the higher you provide them means to track your means to be able to identify you, the higher your transaction limit daily. So I believe I've answered this question.
All right, perfect. Okay, our time is fast spent. So I don't know. I don't think we have any other question. This is almost the end. So I believe we've learned a lot. I believe knowledge has been passed. I know we have a clear distinction now between our CBDCs and cryptocurrencies. I believe nobody will be mixing things up right now. I believe by now we should know why we should get our speed wallets. I believe by now we know why we should get them all installed, right? So that's just what we have for you guys today. A big shout out once again to our bosses in the house. A big shout out to CEO of Pmoney Academy, uh, the almighty Pmoney. Celebrate him. A big shout out to PA, Sablings. A big shout out to Ransom and all the team. We really appreciate you guys.
I have a
Please.
question.
Oh, somebody has a question. Okay. We'll just take this. I'll be done for today. You mustn't be on the call. Just know that we are done. We are done with the webinar. Thank you so much. It's an honor to have you guys all here. Thank you, Sir Kerux. Thank you, Sir BillionAireSon. Thank you so much. You guys are blessed men. Thank you. Okay, child of grace, let's have your question. Then we'll be done. Thank you.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I would like to appreciate all the speakers that have spoken. You guys have spoken really very well, and I've really learned a whole lot. But I have a question. I have this question. It's been bothering me for a while now, and the question is this: I was I want to ask: is it possible for the Nigerian government to actually ban cryptocurrency totally? Not like the first one they did, that they actually have to stop banks from assisting in transactions, like the way they banned Twitter, and like they went to the network provider, the internet providers, and were like cut the servers. So can they actually do it to like apps like Binance, KuCoin? Like maybe they should meet with those network providers and have to cut out the server. I don't know if it's possible, because with the way I'm looking at it now, most most people might not be interested in this their Naira. They might maybe have that kind of plan. I want to know if it's possible for them to do that.
No,
Thank you.
sir. No, sir, it's not possible because of time. I won't be able to go into deeper facts about why it is not possible, but it isn't possible Binance would not even do that. There are so many exchanges that would not allow that. The only one thing that I know it is possible, which I think Iran did that at a particular point in time, is that when you want to use Binance, probably download from Play Store. From Play Store, you'll see that this app is not available in your country, but your country can still use the app. But it is not just available in your country, probably on Play Store. That's, I believe that's as high they can go. But the website version, you might still be able to use that. But answering your question, the Nigerian government cannot totally ban cryptocurrency. I can assure you that 70% of traders were still trading, making carry out transactions and doing a lot of things while the ban was still on. And to show you that Nigerian government is making steps and adjustments to bring cryptocurrency back and even implement it in their system, they brought about Inera. So on one side, where there's the disadvantage of Inera, as BillionAireSon really explained, another side is that Nigerian government bringing Inera is a sign that they are giving providence, they are giving space for cryptocurrencies, to come into play. They are showing it's a sign that, okay, this stuff we are accepting it and we are trying to see how we can relate with it. So it's actually a positive sign. Whether people use Inera or not, the Nigerian government cannot entirely ban people from using cryptocurrencies. They can't check over over 200 million people phones at the same time to see if you have any exchange. And also, they can't, sir. They can't at all. I hope your question is answered, sir.
Okay. Like because of our time, it's almost 10. Okay, it's almost 10. Because of our time, we might not really have that leverage to speak much more on that. But Kerux have spoken on that actually. But why just know that the whole idea here is the governing bodies, they want to just gain control. That's what happens. They want to just gain control. They want to regulate stuff. That's what they try to do. And most times they will tell you that's why you have the whole idea of Binance US. Binance US is different from your normal Binance you're using. Like you see different exchanges operating in different countries. That's why most times I think I saw if it's more like a food that I think they're going to stop other exchanges in which country? Which country is that? They want to use Steam exchange and someone use like that. So in a way, they could a country could come up and say, "Don't do this, don't do that," and that particular company will be, yeah, they will be actually, they will be and leave, they will be and leave. But each citizens will look for a way around it, right? Most persons still have access to Binance USA right now. Like you have the old normal Binance, you have there are Binance actually limited to those US citizens. You get that's why I cannot register on Coinbase and all of that. Like just know that one or the other, this people just want to get these things regulated. They want to get it regulated. So it's true that they might just come and say, let's ban this. But why it's not going to work, or why they won't say that is what Kerux just said. For them to come up with CBDCs, it just shows that in a way they are trying to welcome this stuff. So they can't just stand up one day and say they are banning crypto totally. No. A country can say we don't want this particular company in our country. Yes, they can do that. That's what happened to Twitter. Twitter is just like an organization. So it can happen to any other organization. So they can do that actually. So a country can say we don't want you, we don't want this, we don't want that. Definitely they can do that. But they won't, because in a way they are trying to embrace the whole idea of blockchain technology. Actually, they're trying to embrace it. So they can't just stop crypto totally. They won't do that, right? They can, a country can, but they won't. Know the difference, okay? So they can do that because they want to get they want to regulate the whole stuff, but they won't do it because they know the whole idea is quite massive and it's helping the citizens and all of that. So just understand that. That's why Binance had to change their name to Binance US. Binance US now is working on a particular regulations. That's what we should understand. So every country could come up with stuff like that, okay? But they can't just say they want to ban crypto. All right. I believe that's clear. So sorry. This our webinar took so long, but I believe we've learned a whole lot. So let's do well. We can just drop our comments and drop your questions. We'll just do it and try to answer them. But for the voice chat, we have to just stop now. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much. It's an honor. God bless us all. God bless Pmoney Academy. Thank you.